Okay, today we're going to talk about Excel. We're going to start with a sort of a beginning introduction to how Excel works and give you a few tips and tricks that'll make your life easier. Excel or spreadsheets are programs where you can put things into cells. Each of these cells has a name, so this is cell A1. You can see the name show up over here. And as you move around, you can see that the row 5 and the column D indicate that cell. This is interesting because we can put numbers in there like a 3 into B4 and a 4 into C4, and we can write equations. Say in D, all equations start with an equals, and I can say 3, which is B4, plus 4, and I'll get a new cell that is based on the references of the other cells. So if I put in a 10 here, it'll change to 14 as soon as I get out of that cell. What's nice about this as well is that we can put in other numbers. And if we drag this formula down you can see this gets to a little square. It will continue the formula, and you can see that if I click in here, it says B4 plus C4. If I hit down, it goes 5 and 5, and down it goes 6 and 6. There's a whole bunch of interesting ways that you can anchor these things so that they don't update as they move over using dollar signs and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, certainly reach out to me. Excel over the years has gotten smarter, so you may have noticed that before, when I clicked on this, I could just type in plus and then click on another cell, and it automatically put the B5 in there, the name of that cell. That is really handy, and I use that all the time. In the early days of Excel, you would have to explicitly type this out, and it wouldn't highlight things. So it is, if you remember Excel from 15 years ago or 10 years ago, learning it in school, and it was intimidating, they've done a lot of improvements to make it easier. Some of those other improvements are it will figure out sequences pretty well. So if I type in 1, 2, and 3, and I highlight these 3 cells, I'm just holding down Shift and pressing down there. And if I click again with this little black cross, it will automatically number for me, which is really handy if you're trying to make a lot of rows. Perhaps you're doing data for science or something like that. It's also pretty clever. So if I do Monday, Tuesday, it will notice that this is a sequence as well and put that in. If for some reason you wanted to drag a whole bunch of the same sequence, you can just put something in twice, and if you highlight both of those and drag it down, you can get all ones. So that's fairly handy as well. Often you will get spreadsheets. Maybe this is like date and this is day of the week. You'll get something along these lines, some table will get sent to you, and you may grow tired of every time you want to sort this to have to go to data and sort and pick how you want it sorted. For example, if I do this and then I want to sort it back the other way, this can get onerous. If you highlight a whole table, which you can also do by Control, Shift, and End, and you go to the home screen and say Format as Table, you can put it, oops, that's not what we want. I'm going to click here and just drag this data here. Home, Format as Table. I'm just going to pick a table. My table has headers, and you can, now that it's a table, you can resort it this way and it'll sort both rows every time. You can also select, I only want to know what days Fridays are, and so on, and then clear the filter. I find that I'm doing this frequently when I get information from elsewhere. Other Excel niceties. If you are in a cell and you want to bold it, Control B. If you want it in italics, Control I. This allows you to quickly edit things. If you have another cell over here and you would like it to be the same as this cell in terms of format, you can right click on this cell, click this paintbrush, see it gets highlighted, and then you can click on this cell and it'll match as well. Excel has gotten even more clever too. So for example, if I have emails in here and I put in jbriggs, I'll put the tech team in here. And I've got this over here, and I'm start typing in things like that are clearly related to the cell right next to me. It's going to guess at what I'm trying to do, and if I hit the tab button right now, all those things in gray will get input, which I find really useful if I'm trying to sort of turn things into emails. So for example, if I decide that I want these into emails, it's going to recognize that that's what I'm trying to do. It's a simple sort of text expansion, and I can get pieces of data really quickly in that way. Those are the basics of Excel. There is all sorts of other things you can do in terms of right-clicking and adjusting borders and filling and changing things from numbers into dates and adding digits to numbers and so on. I will show you one quick one that I use sometimes in a class. So let's say I've got my class of all JName people, and I want to randomize this list. There's an equal rand function in Excel. If I hit enter, it'll give me a random number. I use this to randomize students, where I will sort based on my random cell, which is column A in this case. And then every time it does it, it re-randomizes, so I can resort on this. And I can randomize my student list as many times as I want to in order to, pick who goes first or seating charts or whatnot. This one I find fairly useful. And I think we'll leave it there. That's a quick introduction to Excel. There's tons more you can do in terms of changing sizes of cells and formulas. It's almost like a full programming language inside of these little cells. But for now, that is a quick introduction.